my
Miscellaneous today.
perception of it is,
No one's
hey,
calling in,
if
so you don't
it
have to.
doesn't go, it's a great affordable
But I'll
housing.
You can revert back. Revert back.
Oh, those are pretty colors.
Those are pretty good.
Oh, come on now.
What can we make it like correspond to the
Frankie just trying to make it like his lights in his car. That's all that is.
Yeah, I got all hey, you want me to go get my first grader to get that straightened out for you?
I hate it. Frankie,
I can't do it.
I hate it. Yeah,
I don't.
It's like dynamic.
They
For
drive
different
me nuts.
holidays, I switch the colors.
They drive me nuts. And every time the grandkids get in, they want to change colors.
Yeah, my granddaughter, yeah.
I mean, I can put it on my phone, but I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, put it on your phone. That happens once. No. Give it to Russell. Because he's making fun of me. Set the timer. What are we doing? The timer.
Joe, I just need to know how.
Is the mayor calling in? No.
He told me today no, but he could change his mind.
I say he's not on the ship. He's
Oh,
on
you're
there.
making it really
Yeah,
go
he's
color,
amazing.
Yeah, say.
colorful here.
We're going to different colors. Right. There you go. Let me get my first grader now to help you. Yeah.
What's the name of that show? Something about third grade? Yeah. Yeah. I did stuff like that, man. Where's the beer? I know you don't drink it, but pass it along.
We had the winery come in tonight from 44 Center Square. They're like,
Oh, they're going. They're great.
and they were like,
They're,
bring over some wine. You
they
can
got
have
some
fun at
good
work.
products, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I don't think I'm getting to it.
No, well, you know, it's now 68 degrees. I see that.
Yeah.
Oh, now it goes. All right, it is.
I can't even read that stuff.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, okay. I will take it to church.
Why you look at me like that?
I will take it to church.
And I'll get the offering.
I'll pass my plate around. You can't do it if I get the invitation.
No, I can walk around. I know, but I can
No,
collect.
you can collect it.
Yeah, I already got
this.
Already got a hat.
Thanks for all the.
I can't.
What's up, Marty? Start it with it, take it around. I'll beat you.
Oh, my Lord.
They did so much.
Already got a hat.
Those poor people.
I know. And I wish I could say it's the first time that something like that has happened, but Dwayne went out there and he was just like,
Who's this? Oh, well,
we had old pictures.
Jim won't be here tonight.
Oh, it's not going to be
No, he has COVID.
Completely
We got
different.
Yeah.
So I do feel bad.
Yeah, Jim texted me at 4:45. He has COVID again. This is third shot.
Thanks for the update.
No, the hell he kissing.
Crystal, can you come here a second?
Give me 1 second.
You got 3 minutes, actually.
You got 30-second timeout. That's it. That's your last one.
Hey, Ken.
How are you?
Good party.
Good.
It's fine, pretty much. Sums up.
Is Edgar not here today?
Yeah, Jim won't be here.
Oh.
Yes, okay. I had it last week.
Not this one. Ken Smith.
Gotcha.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Oh, don't say that.
Okay.
Man, you're wrong, man.
Well, we had to pick again.
I'm gonna call him. Pass the phone number. I got him on speed dial.
It's his in person.
I know he's away. You know what?
No.
How's the program Sunday?
It was good.
Yeah, I seen it. I knew he was coming. But I thought he was coming in October too. You changed the date?
They're supposed to come back in October, but probably
Okay.
not in Shiloh. But we have that.
Okay. supposed to be here like what, 3 more times? That's
the
1,
plan.
2, 3.
The plan is to get here before the election. I don't know. That's why I told the man to go to church next Sunday or the Sunday after.
You coming out of Philly?
No, Pittsburgh is here.
Oh, it's in there? I thought he was in Philly for some reason.
There's a Malcolm.
I know Malcolm. Malcolm lives right by Temple.
Yeah, he's a couple blocks
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
Where I grew up.
But it's actually nice where he's at.
It is. I didn't build it up though.
Yeah, it's nice.
That was the worst project in America when I lived here. If you didn't hear guns going off, there was something wrong. And nobody had windows. We all had like open boxes and stuff. So you couldn't see out or in.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Elevators
Have my
never
little
worked.
cheat sheet down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that down there.
Kenny Brown leads the majority of it, and you just read off the things.
Yeah.
Bob's
Okay.
vote,
And I ran track. I ran this thing fast.
I still hold the record for the school district.
And they
7
told me.
minutes.
They told me that.
7 minutes?
It was only.
The
It
whole
was.
agenda includes.
There
I got
wasn't 2 things
13
on there.
COAs that I gotta go off of.
You know what I used to do? Like on that?
Hey, group.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna
You can do it in group.
Oh shit, we don't have. She usually leaves agenda, but that's cool.
I have.
Listen, like we'll go. I'll say, can I have a motion to accept 8 public comment, A through M?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it.
Well, and
Boom.
she,
And we run the whole thing.
from what
That's
she,
how you do it.
from what I saw, it's like she just says tonight we have 13 resolutions approving certificate of appropriateness for the following, and I just go through all the
Yep,
addresses.
that's all.
and
That's it.
go through.
Ready? We're going to get the State of the Session meeting started. First by giving invocation, then pledge to the flag. Father, we thank you for all things seen and unseen. We thank you for the opportunity to serve thy people. We ask that you come into the meeting this evening and allow us to come together as one. And all things we pray. Amen.
Pledges to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mr. Ettinger, Mr. Pettibone,
Here.
Mrs. Rose,
Here.
Dr. Ruggles,
Here.
Mrs. Satana,
Here.
Mayor Panto.
Approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
then second. Any objections? Hearing none. Roll call.
Mr. Ettinger, Mr. Pettibone,
Aye.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Russell,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mayor Panto, Mr. Brown.
Aye. Is there a presentation this evening, Mr. Lewis? Or no, we're going to take that off of mine. At this point of the agenda, we have public comments on agenda items only. You have 5 minutes to speak. Oh, I'm sorry, I did go. Let me go back up here. Action on the minutes of September 11th
Move to approve.
and second. And roll call, please.
Mr. Ettinger, Mr. Pettibone,
Aye.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mayor Panto, Mr. Brown.
Aye. At this time, we can go into public comments. Seeing none this evening, we're going to move to consent agenda.
Tonight, we have 13 resolutions approving certificate of appropriateness for the following: 133, 135 Northampton Street, 527, 529 Northampton Street, 123 South 3rd, 315 Northampton Street, 321 Northampton Street, aka 7B North Bank Street, 44, 46 Center Square, 109 North 2nd, 516 to 522 Northampton Street, 131 Spring Garden Street, 322 to 336 Northampton Street, 310 to 390 Larry Holmes Drive, 27 South 3rd Street, and Northampton and 6th Street.
Thank you so much. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion
Second.
and second.
Next question.
Question.
I believe that the resolution for, as it states in the resolution, 123 South 3rd Street should not be 123 South 3rd Street. That's not what's getting the certificate of appropriateness. What's getting the certificate of appropriateness is on
Billy's?
Sitgraves and I think Church are the two that are actually actually getting the certificate of appropriateness. So I think in our resolution, we need to state where the certificate of appropriateness is going to instead of who generated it. Right.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Joe, do we have to do a motion on that change, or?
You would have to, I don't have it in front of me. I was just gonna search, in the process of trying to search for our, but whatever it is, what we need to just do is amend to specifically identify the unit at 123, or what's, is the owner at 123 South 3rd Street?
It's the,
Because the applicant would be in there, right?
it's
The applicant is us.
city.
At what,
Okay.
great,
It's
that
for
we
the
change
street
that.
landscaping improvement for, Sitgraves and, Church. They're doing lighting proposals,
Oh,
arches,
okay, I got you.
planters.
But the resolution states that, the resolution approving a certificate of appropriateness for 123 South 3rd Street.
Yeah,
Which
that's,
is us.
Not for 123
that's incorrect. And if we have the information already in the package for what we are,
Right,
for what the
it's there.
project is,
It's there.
then we should just amend it to indicate the areas that are identified in the application for the certificate of appropriateness.
Thank you. Dr. Ruggles, would you like to make that amendment, please?
I would move that we change it from 123, in the resolution, we change it from 123 South 3rd Street to, Church and,
6th Street.
It's North Sitgraves Church.
Sitgraves,
At
North
North
Sitgraves,
Second and
right.
North
Church
Third
and North
Street.
Sitgraves.
Second.
I mean, you can put in North Sitgrave Street at Northampton and Spring Garden Streets, and Church Street at North 3rd, North 2nd, and North 3rd Streets, which is right in the case
Of it.
things there.
Yep.
So
Okay.
in every place that we have 123 South 3rd Street, just stick that in there.
I think the reason we used that was because of the system, we needed to put an address in, so we just used the cities.
Okay, so we have an amendment, and we had a motion from, Councilman Pettibone. May I have a second, please?
No, I second.
Oh, you second it? Okay. Okay. Okay, then we'll have roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger? Mayor Panto? Mr. Pettibone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Report received by Easton.
We gotta vote on
Fire.
that.
We got to vote on the change. Okay, motion to, vote on the change.
Consent agenda.
It's the whole agenda.
Motion.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any changes other than that? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Ettinger? Mayor Panto? Mr. Pettibone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Reports received by council. I have none from the Eastern Fire Department, but we did get it in our packet. At this time, we'll go to reports by committee. This evening, I have two things on. I have a resolution approving the MMO for the city management pension and a resolution approving the MMO for the PMRS. I do have one thing I wanted to say. I received several phone calls last week in reference to the outage of, on South Side. A lot of people were concerned that, that the city weren't cutting down trees where there were wires and things. I explained to them that that's actually a Med-Ed thing. But I would say that while the city drivers are out, be cognizant enough to know if the trees are getting a little too full, so that we can turn it into Med-Ed to mitigate anything coming, forward. And at this time also, this evening, I have Mr. Zanecki, who will be giving us a brief update.
Great. Thank you, Councilman Brown. Good evening, members of council. I did send you an email probably about an hour to 2 hours ago regarding just a quick update that I wanted to read today. At the last council meeting, Mr. Campos brought up the issue of the Easton Fire Department's overtime, and basically their overrun so far of the budget. So subsequently, we met with the fire chief to discuss the approximately $50,000 overage through September of their year-to-date budget. So in other words, they're $50,000 over already over their entire year budget. And the fire chief did inform us that there were several large drivers of that overtime. First being vacancies, where basically we have headcount that has not been, or positions that have not yet been filled, and those represented nearly 30% of the overtime. Fifth man status, which is in essence, or a large chunk of that is FMLA, or the Family Medical Leave Act. There were some, some births in the fire department, and so firefighters were out. That accounted for nearly 24% of the overtime, and then sickness or illnesses accounted for another almost 18%. So the total of that was just over 70%, so nearly 3/4 of the overtime budget was due to those three factors. We also then looked at the projections through the end of the year, looking at the run rate and what the fire department estimated for overtime based again on some of these vacancies, etc. And in comparing that to the salaries line that we have for fire, we did find that, again, those same vacancies where we're not paying folks on the salaries line, we are incurring expenses on the overtime line. Fortunately, if we want to say so, the overages in overtime are going to be less than what we're saving on the salaries line. So in short, we won't need a budget amendment to account for that. So while overtime is over in the fire department, overall the department itself is okay, and we'll make adjustments within that department accordingly. Next, council questioned at our last meeting the use of fund balances, and I wanted to just provide you some background on that. There were two budget amendments that had proposed the use of fund balances, one being the general fund and then one the revolving capital fund. To start, back in 22, the fund balance for the general fund was at $6.5 million. We have a targeted goal of 10% for our fund balance, and that was substantially over that target. So there was an assignment of $1.5 million to the healthcare fund, and then another $1 million to the insurance casualty fund, which left about $4 million, and that's about 10.5% of revenue. Our minimum goal is 10%. So we're currently working through the 2023 audit, but at this point, we are confident that there will be an addition to the fund balance. So in other words, we should see an uptick there. And with that information, unfortunately, since the audit is not yet finalized, we are confident that the $86,000 that we had requested to use of the fund balance this year in 2024 will not put us under our target of 10%. Next, with regards to the revolving capital fund, that fund balance was at $828,000 at the end of 22. Again, we're going through the audit, and we don't have final numbers yet, but we are confident that that number is going to go up as well. The budget amendment that had been proposed was to use $123,000 of that fund balance. If you recall, we did note that about $68,000 of that amount was budgeted in 2023. We didn't spend it, so we're asking for that money to come back into play, if you will, in 24, and then the additional amount would be taken out of the fund balance. So,
Can I just ask,
yes, Dr. Rollins.
in 2023, when we don't spend it, where does it go?
Into the fund balance.
Okay, so the number you're saying that is in that fund balance is part of that.
Correct.
68,000 is part of that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So we're asking basically for permission to reallocate that money, pull that back into 24 since we didn't spend it in 23, and then in order to finish out the project for the garage, we did need additional funding to get us to that $123,000. So that is all I had, Mr. Brown. So unless there are any questions,
Mr. President.
So we took the money out from 23, and then we added our own money to it from the fund balance. So we're not at 10.5% anymore. Where are we at?
well, that's the revolving capital fund. So that's a separate fund.
That you took the extra. Okay.
Correct. Correct. So yeah, so I did go through the general fund. We're still above our 10% goal. The capital revolving capital fund does not have a fund balance. We don't have a fund balance policy in place. So
Thank you, Mr. Necky. I also wanted to let council know this evening, immediately after the meeting, we will go into executive session. Okay, thank you for that. Economic development.
Thank you, Councilman. In the last 2 weeks, the RDA held groundbreaking at 322 Cole Street. That is 2 workforce housing for sale properties that are being completed. We heard from RDA and Michael Brett of there's a lot more properties coming online for workforce housing. Workforce housing is that forgotten middle, the people in the middle. They don't qualify for low income housing and they don't make enough to purchase market rate. So workforce housing is that often forgotten group in the middle. They also completed negotiations on the agreement of sale for the Easton Iron and Metal. AOS is being introduced for consideration. BM Development will be attending the City Council Committee meeting on October 8th to provide a presentation on their proposed development and the status of the project. Winter Village plans are coming together for this year. We're expecting more than 40 vendors, including a rotating hut, which changes vendors each weekend this year. A logistics meeting was held this week to determine hut locations, road closures, programming, and other related plans. We are expecting more than 50,000 people will attend the 5-week event this year. The event dates and times are below. From November 23rd to December 22nd, Fridays 5 to 9 p.m., Saturdays 1 to 9 p.m., Sundays noon to 5 p.m. The department is currently working on a Main Street Matters grant with Easton Main Street Initiative and TEDP to support our business recruitment and retention efforts and to promote additional planning for community and economic development services in the city. 2 new local share assessment account grants applications were submitted on Friday for curb cuts for ADA accessibility along the ring roads for a total of $151,500 each. The department is preparing to submit to all 3 LSA programs for the proposed police evidence building to be located on 611 North near Posh Marine. Total requested will be approximately $700,000. This past Monday, a group of residents, primarily from the West Ward, but they came from West Ward, Palmer, College Hill, Wilson, invited myself, Councilwoman Rose, and Planning Commissioner Frank Graziano to come and speak and answer questions about the proposed warehouse for 13th and Wood Avenue. It was a good meeting. Unfortunately, the residents wanted a lot of answers, which none of us have at this time. So we're hoping to get that. Councilman Brown came and attended and answered some questions about when he worked there in the 20s.
22.
22. Councilman, that's all I have.
Just a question for Mr. Campos. Mr. Campos, I know we talked about before the app for closures of streets. Will that app be in place coming up this Christmas season?
I would have to check for you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Penamon, for your report. Planning and codes.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Also, Councilman Pintabone just mentioned it. On Monday, I also joined the community meeting regarding the Wood Avenue warehouse proposal. Over 25 people were in attendance. I thank Councilman Pintabone and Councilman Brown for attending and participating in the meeting. For those a lot of people have been reaching out about this proposal, and for anyone who's interested in this proposal, I really urge you to join the October 6th planning meeting. It will be held at 6:30 in this room, City Council Chambers, 3rd floor of City Hall. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Public safety. Dr. Rhodes.
Thank you. Just wanted to tell council I attended my very first sewer advisory council meeting, which is the state level DEP advisory council, and this is for sewers within the state. And basically what we did is we went over some proposed regulations that DEP is bringing forward and are currently working on those. I just wanted to kind of emphasize a little bit more what Councilman Pettibone mentioned as far as the grant that we're voting on tonight. The evidence warehouse is a really big deal. It has in the past been in a hazardous area. It is in a hazardous area, you know, what is being proposed is it being moved out of that hazard area into a more safe area where we can maintain evidence for long periods of time and not worry about flooding. So that is very important. We're voting on that proposal for a grant that will be submitted tonight. And that's all I have.
If I can jump in, Councilman Ruggles, because we didn't have a full board tonight, I did ask the fire chief to move his presentation to the next meeting, and one of the topics that we are going to discuss is the lithium battery issue. So I just
okay,
wanted the
good.
council to know that, okay?
Good.
Yep.
Thank you. Mr. Edgar is not here this evening. Administration. Did I skip one? No, I'm sorry, I did. Let's see here, James. Administration, Councilwoman Sultana.
There is a resolution authorizing the city administration to auction the city-owned items. The auction will be held online in late October or early November. The auctioneers as well as the administration will advertise locally in Easton and the surrounding areas. So please contact Mr. Luis Campos for additional information. Another item is I'm so grateful for the community that came together on the September 21st in the neighborhood center and helped us with our free shoe giveaway. We were able to give away 80 pairs of shoes. Thank you to all the contributors and the volunteers. One more item is I received an email regarding the situation in ongoing genocide in Gaza and a potential wider impact in Lebanon now. I will not read the email, but I will forward it to Madam Clerk for the record. Another thing is I am working on bringing a policy that will be called FERRY to address the emergency disaster like Ferry Street blaze that burned down a row of houses on Memorial Day a year and a half ago. I will present a detailed proposal to the next council meeting and will send out a copy to the council members. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Is that similar to what you proposed last year, that we was gonna try to put money towards
Yes,
that?
yes.
Okay. All right. Report to City Solicitor, Mr. Sheriff.
Thank you. Three things. I first just want to supplement what the chair said about having an exec session. Specific purpose will be review of a real estate issue. For the Planning Commission, the warehouse is not on the agenda for the October meeting. So it's going to be in November. It was continued specifically. I will not be there on the October meeting because it's the beginning of the Jewish New Year holiday, which I observe. And the two issues on there are fences, but there's also an informational, I guess they're beginning to talk about long-term planning, so it's always good to listen to that. But as I said, November is the
Thanks
date.
for the correction. I had November and my mind is on
So,
October.
yeah, November's.
November 6th.
And then finally, I just want to give an explanation in advance. When you vote on the item, the resolution involving the encroachment at 225 Ferry Street, there was 3 attachments. There's the one resolution, well, the resolution's fine. The agreement that you would be voting on would be the one that's not signed by anyone that has 8 numbered paragraphs. That was the one that's at the end. It was really more informational because that had all the buildup that was initially proposed, which the owner had signed, but when I reviewed it, I wanted a couple of corrections, and I didn't like the signature format either. So you're approving if you approve this, you'll be approving the city providing or signing off on that encroachment agreement after the owner signs the one that you will be approving. But I just wanted to be clear because there are 2 in the one that's already been signed is not the one you're approving. What you're approving is the unsigned with 8 numbered paragraphs. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. The mayor is not here this evening, so we're going to go right to reports of the city administration. Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. The only update I have is that, number one, I attended the ICMA conference. I'm going to be submitting my notes to the clerk, and I'll forward them to council as well. So I just wanted council to know that. And then the second thing is the mayor will have his budget presentation per the charter on October 1st from 12 to 1 o'clock. I know you know this. I'm just making this public announcement here at the council meeting. Thank you. That's it.
Then I have one at
Lunch
2.
for that, right?
There's going to be absolutely no lunch. You can bring your own. We call those brown bag lunches.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. I have no correspondent, unfinished bill. Business, I'm sorry.
Bill number 23, ordinance amending chapter 560, the vehicle and traffic.
Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Pinamo.
This is, which one?
Bill 23,
Unfinished.
about the traffic.
Oh, okay.
Chapter 560.
Mm-hmm. Need a second?
Anybody want to give a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please. Roll call, please.
Mayor Panto, Mr. Pinnabone,
Aye.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Enninger.
Thank you.
Resolution for approving the agreement with the IPS Group for the parking technology.
Need a motion, please. Moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mayor Panto, Mr. Pinnabone,
Aye.
Mrs. Rose,
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Enninger.
New business.
Under new business, is a resolution authorizing the city administration to auction city-owned items.
Motion
Second.
and second. Any discussion?
Got one.
Dr. Ruggles?
Suggestion. I noticed that we have 15 vehicles in this auction.
Yes.
And I hear on the radio often where companies are saying, just call us up and we'll buy your vehicle. And I think it would be a good idea if we were to just offer those vehicles to those companies in order to secure a minimum bid. Because we could essentially say, we know we're going to get this much if we sell it to them. We'll have it at the auction. If it goes more than that, then good. But if nobody bids that much, then we have a guaranteed location.
Yeah, I don't think we could do that.
State.
I think what we could do is invite those companies, could you please give us your minimum bid for the auction? Because the third-class city code gives you very
Well,
narrow,
I guess that's another way.
I mean, that would be the effective way to do it.
Okay.
Because
Well, I mean, they're out there, so,
Yeah,
I mean, they're.
yeah, we have exceptions, but where you're giving it to certain, particular organizations, but otherwise we gotta go through this auction system. But that would be a good, if they're out there and they're interested, we solicit them to do it. Ask them to appoint you as the agent to submit the bid for them.
I mean, we could do an
Do it, it works.
RFP for each one and just circulate it to those companies too and say, what does the,
Well, you gotta do it by the auction though.
Okay.
but my concern is, I attended an auction for the city, and there were things at that auction that went for an incredible price. The desk that I sit at right now
I heard, yeah.
was Chris's desk up in his office in City Hall, and I paid $1 for it.
Well, I heard.
Nobody else was bidding,
Yeah,
and I said, "Oh, I'll give you $1," and he was okay, sold. And I mean, and I think we need to be able to put some lower limits on this, so that I know we want to try to get rid of it, but still,
Well, I will say that the estimated value is around $95,000. So that's not, I would say that's not a small amount of money here that we're auctioning off. It's certainly a decent amount of revenue for us, and that goes directly into our capital budget. And that's what Mr. Lesnicki discussed before. We had an $800,000 fund balance in that capital budget. So this will go directly. Any sale of asset goes into that fund balance. So that's a healthy amount compared to what we're auctioning. That's a different story. All right, but with this particular vendor, what we're doing is it's going to be 100% online. So I think it's going to hit a greater market. So we'll see what the return is, and we'll be able to report on it. And certainly, if we can, I'll recommend to the auctioneer some of the input that you just gave us right now. So see if we can invite those purchasers to bid.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pettibone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mr. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Edgar? Mayor Panto. Next on the agenda is the resolution authorizing DCED to apply for Lehigh, Northampton County, Maroon County, and statewide local share counts in the amount of $672,204.
Motion, Fennell. Need a
Second.
second. Second by Dr. Ruggles. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Edgar? Mayor Panto? Mr. Pettibone.
Aye.
Bill number 24, an ordinance approving purchase and sale agreement between the City of Easton and Foundry Development Group LLC.
Motion.
No, introduced.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's been introduced, okay?
Next item under new business is a resolution approving the MMO for city-managed pensions.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Pettibone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Edgar? Mayor Panto. Resolution approving the MMO for the PMRS.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Pettibone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Edgar? Mayor Panto. Resolution approving the encroachment agreement for 225 Ferry Street for their vent stack.
Motion.
Second.
And second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pettibone?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Dr. Ruggles?
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Edgar? Mayor Panto.
Thank you. At this point in the agenda, we have public comments on any matter before City Council. Please come to the podium, state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes.
My name is Artie Rabbits. I live at 144 Church Street in Easton, and I'd like to ask the council if anything happened at the meeting about the warehouse on 13th Street. Any resolution at all? Any state reports that
At the committee meeting,
No, it was just a committee meeting, already held by the residents.
Huh.
So it was just, they wanted to try to get an understanding on more of what's happening, so nothing was presented. As, Councilwoman Rose said, Planning Commission on the 6th, maybe things will be proposed there.
I see? And the last question I have goes back to the property on Larry Holmes Drive. Is that the new confluence we're talking about? Is that it's on the agenda here, or am I guessing wrong?
anything on there?
Is that for the
It's the Larry Holmes Drive property, 310 to 309 Larry Holmes Drive, certificate of appropriateness.
That was for a sign.
Where?
It was for a sign for one of the new businesses
Oh, a
going in
sign.
there.
Thank you very much.
If I may, what Mr. Ravitz asked about the warehouse, my understanding is this was not a committee, it was just a group of citizens who had gotten together to discuss. So, no, the word committee was used. I just want to make, I just want to, I just want to clarify that. And the other thing is, it does ring up one warning caution bell for the members of council. if you're ever invited and you see a fourth person walk in, everybody walk out. Seriously, because then it's all subject to the open meetings law, and you know, even if you're just sitting there to, even if you're just sitting there to observe, the problem is if you start getting into a discussion, the discussion part can be considered deliberation, and you could get into trouble. So, just
Thanks
just
for
wanted
that,
to
Joel,
mention.
because I did before I went in, I started counting heads.
Kenny's so short, we didn't even see him come in.
When I first became an assistant solicitor, I was working on the Bill Murphy. Very early in the game, we were invited to Northampton County Prison to take a tour, and what really impressed me was that we broke into two groups. Bill was with one, and I was with the other, so we didn't have more than 3 people together, even for the tour of the prison.
Any other public comments this time?
I have one item too before we leave. Oh, I just wanted to remind everyone who's here tonight, council members, and also anyone who's listening to the stream, that the Easton Garlic Fest will be held on Saturday and Sunday, October 5th and 6th. Both days from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, rain or shine, in Center Square. Hope to see everybody there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just an update for council. I had a press conference last week. I've been working with Valley Health Partners, who live in the South Side, and Star Wellness, who are downtown. October 14th, we're going to bring a medical van and a dental van to the West Ward in the parking lot of the Easton Community Center, and at the same time have a dental van in the parking lot of Bravo on South Side. People with great insurance or no insurance can come get dental exams. Women can get breast checks for cancer, just all type of medical and dental services, as well as some financial counseling that they offer. I hope to do it often, but October 14th will be the first one.
Thank you for the information. Any other from the public? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
And second? Executive
To
session.
executive session.
I don't know what
I know.
Why couldn't we adjourn?
We're adjourning to executive session,
That's it.
right?
Yep, we're adjourning to
Okay.
second.
So we gotta vote.
Yep. We gotta vote out.
Okay. Dr. Ruggles,
Aye.
Mrs. Sultana,
Aye.
Mayor Panto, Mr. Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Eniger, Mr. Pittibone.